So I live in the Matter. From my British point of view, if you're like a lot of Brits, you're in the wrong location. It's predominantly people from either this area, Valencia, Madrid, Barcelona. And then you have a few of the working population from all over the place, but very few Brits. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. But I know some people need that connection with the UK, and you'd be better on San Luis or one of the other locations that have a huge British population. But what the Matter offers is a quiet village type place. So it's very, very quiet. It's good for the kids. There's not a lot of fast traffic moving around, so the kids are pretty safe. It sits between the sea and the nature park. So you've got the beaches on one side, and then you've got a huge lake with cycle paths, trekking paths, picnic areas, all the touristy outdoors type stuff just on the doorstep, within walking distance even. So you've got those two scenarios that it sits between. So you have a lot of activities you can do. There's cycle paths that run along the main road. So you have a good run for cycling in a safe environment. So your kids can also cycle. There is a lot of fresh food. The bread's fantastic from the local bakers here. The butchers are very good. The fishmonger on a Wednesday is very good. We have the fresh food market on a Wednesday, so we can get things like oranges, olives, tomatoes, vegetables, general stuff. They're all very, very good. The produce is fantastic. The rents are pretty cheap because it's not a built up area. There's no big commerce here, so the hardest bit is actually finding work. We live within walking distance of the beach. I mean, a short walking distance of the beach, and it's only about €300 a month. The electric is costing us somewhere between 80 and €110 a month, and water comes in about 40. Our biggest expense is actually food. So from that point of view, it's pretty good. You know, life is pretty good. But then when you take into account the school is really, really good. And if you look for the other link for the web page, you will see that the link to the school's Facebook group, you can see how many activities go on at the school. But on top of that, it's a community rather than just a school where you send your kids off to. There's a lot of stuff that involves the parents. So it's a very, very good school. The kids love it. Didn't take the kids long to learn Spanish. They were starting to be almost fluent within a month because they're proactively getting the kids to learn Spanish. They're not delving back into the English like the UK does, where it compensates constantly. As such, the kids pick it up very, very fast, because they have to, and it's not too much stress on the kids, etc., because it's not forced on them. It's done in a natural way. So the language is not a barrier for the kids. It's a bigger barrier for adults because it's much, much harder for us to learn. Hospitals. We have a private hospital and a government hospital within driving distance of the house. Very short, because the N332, which is a bit like a motorway, is just on the doorstep, and you can be in either hospital in less than, well, Kieran Hospital would take me about 5 minutes. The government one probably 10 to 15 minutes. We also have a Salud, which is a local clinic. The clinic is better than I find the one in the UK. And I say that from the fact that I just don't use the one in the UK, because phoning up for an appointment that I might get it tomorrow or whenever they phone me back is not what I call a service. It's a bit of a joke. Here you can walk in, there'll be 3 or 4 people on the counter, and you may have an appointment within the next 5-10 minutes. They also have an online booking system as well. So the fact is, their system is actually running much smoother than the British system. So I would say the healthcare is pretty good. The beaches are fantastic. There's miles of them as well, so that's right on the doorstep. The Torrevieja town is not far. Within Torrevieja, it's a bit enclosed for living. I don't actually, I couldn't live there, but I do like visiting there. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of cafes, etc. You've also got an industrial area that's got like a kids' play park. You've got a lot of activities that are going on that you can access. You have walking clubs, you have cycling clubs, you've got the marina. There's a lot of stuff there, because it's a tourist area. There's a lot of facilities that a smaller fishing town, should we say, which this may have been at some point, would not have. But it does. It has huge sports facilities in the area. Um, the only downside is probably finding work. That is the hard bit in Spain. And it's not just here, it's in general. Work is pretty bad. If you can't speak Spanish, it's even worse. The odds on finding something is extremely slim. There is call center work, there is teaching English, there is services for the Brits. But beyond that, it can be quite difficult. So you need to be prepared that if you don't learn the Spanish language, you're going to struggle. Because Jack the Builder is here en masse. They're teaching English stuff. There's a lot of people do it seasonally. So as a full-time job, it may not be the best option. But if you top it up with teaching English, which I'll point up here, because my other channel, we're actually doing the teaching English as an extra revenue stream. So the point is, you've got to think out of the box because you have no support system here. There is no social security for you because you haven't paid into the system yet. I think the Spanish, it takes 8 years to get something out of something. That's what I've heard. I can't confirm it because I haven't seen it on a government website. But the reality is you're on your own pretty much. Now, the good side of that is it keeps the rents down. Also, the airports are nearby. Alicante airport's 45 minutes north of me by car, and Murcia a little bit further south. But you're not far off about the same timescale. Now, you can commute. I can get flights on a Friday back from Birmingham to here and fly out on a Sunday. So I could actually do working during the week. It's not a problem. But if you can do even better by finding remote work, then obviously that's a much better route. There is also the buses. The buses will ride you to the airport for I think €7. It's cheap. If you're a local resident of La Mata, by the way, you can get a bus pass for about €7 a year. I'm not sure if it entitles you to total free air travel in the area, but it's certainly going to be cheap. Going to somewhere like Cartagena or Cartagena, same place, different way of saying it, I think it was about €14. So the bus services are pretty good. If you park your car at the airport, it costs about €200 to €250 a year, and they'll wash the car 6 times for you as well. So there's a lot of, it's geared up for the tourist market, which gives it a lot of infrastructure that makes your life easier. So even if you commuted to the UK to work on contract or whatever, it's not that inconvenient. So that side, I have to say, is great. The food's great. The school's great. Properties, a lot of them are a bit old. Recommend getting off the ground floor if you can, because a lot of them suffer with damp. And if you can get like a second floor, be perfect. Because also you get away from the road noise. And for example, if you've got the windows open, you can get that cigarette smoke come in from people walking along the footpath. But that's pretty much our downside. The Residency is a whole nother kettle of fish about getting residency here. But if you buy a house, they seem like, okay, you bought a house and a bit more lenient. But they have tightened up on it since February, so I assume they're trying to reduce the number of people that are actually entitled to be in Spain. Maybe to encourage them to go a bit further north to Calais, maybe. I don't know. But it does seem to be a major shift in the last 12 months on how easy it was to get into Spain. It's tightened up quite a bit. But for the average Brit, you're probably going to have some money behind you, be it a pension or whatever. So you may be okay. And there's people I know that have been here 12 years and still haven't done their residencia. Not because they couldn't, it's just they haven't. Because if they're not in the system, they're not paying any tax whatsoever. Anyway, that's why I like La Mata. I love it here. Rents are cheap, €300 a month. It's a fantastic place to live. Thanks for watching.